I'm sorry. I know that you're used to me being a clown, but sometimes I just get started and I just want to get the job done.
It was straight business when we hopped on. I was like, oh, I didn't even say hi, but hey, hey, Ryan.
I'm sorry, Judy. It's there's a lot going on in my mind. Like you know how normally there's a lot going on in my mind?
Yeah.
So I'm going to explain that the way I explained it to somebody else yesterday. So take that, but then throw it into the Grand Canyon. That's been my mind this week.
Oh man, now I feel bad about that one tweet that I sent to you.
Welcome to a conversation with Judy and Ryan on YouTube at takeabreathpod. Also check us out on TikTok and Twix. Same username. If you listen on audio platforms, please remember to give us 5 stars. If you only give us 4 stars, why do you hate me? Because everyone loves Judy. And so the 5 stars go to her. And then it's like I'm like a head coach. If we win, it's the players who did it. But if we lose, it's my fault. So
Oh no.
oh, okay. So guys, just so you know, this week's episode is going to be a little different. It has been a very long, arduous week for me so far. So we're going to have a good old-fashioned trauma dump of a therapy session in the second half of the show. So I told Judy that since we will be doing that, since I will essentially be taking over for the entirety of the second half of the show, I will give her all of the segments that she wants to talk about in the first half. So if you're here for the goofs and the gaffes and the funnies, well, you can still laugh at me while I'm crying about my therapy needs. But the most of those are going to be in the first half, okay?
Yeah.
And I find it so funny that like I'm going to spend a good 45 minutes bitching and moaning when I have given you trauma about something. And for anyone who doesn't know, I used to work in morning radio, right? And it was such, I'm not going to bullshit. It was such a bad experience in certain ways. It was a blessing in many ways, but it was such a bad experience in certain ways that it really has turned me off to so many things, morning radio. You could say, oh, you're bitter. Yeah, so.
So what?
But one of the things that I've told Judy about is I don't want to do topics that are morning radio-y. And even though I've explained to her what those are, it keeps changing because it's really anything that I'm like, oh my God, that's what we're, right?
Yeah.
The topic that comes to mind anytime I think of morning radio-y topics is what's the unironically, what's the difference between jams and jellies? I don't know. So I have adverse feelings about that stuff. But Judy came up with a topic. She hasn't told me what that topic is, but she came up with something that she said was, quote, she wanted to do it, but she was worried because it was, quote, morning radio show E. So what are we talking about?
All right. So I came across this TikTok of this lady just asking this scenario, right? And then I read through the comments and I was like, surprised to see what people's responses were. So her scenario was, you were given $50,000. 50, right? 50. And you have 24 hours to spend
I'm writing this down. 50K.
50K. 50K cash or whatever. Cash, if it's deposited into your account, regardless,
Bitcoin, stocks, whatever you want.
You have $50,000 on hand. What will you do with it in 24 hours? And so I was reading the comments and I was like, wow, most of these things that people are saying are kind of just like basic needs.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God. And, then I'm thinking like 30s Judy has a different answer than 20s Judy would have.
Well, also just real quick, because part of why it becomes a basic needs thing is because, and don't get me wrong, getting this would be a blessing, right?
Yeah.
But 50K is in that weird area where you can't even go and buy like a nice truck for 50K.
Exactly.
Right? Like we would have to up this to get anything kind of outlandish. You have to up this, I would say, at least by 100K.
Yeah.
So you'd be 150. So, because like, honestly, for me, I have something I'm going to ask you in relation to this to make it not some morning radio-y, okay?
Yeah.
Because like, if I had 50K, down payment on a house. Mm-hmm. Right? Because
That's it,
guess
right?
what?
That's it.
Because guess what? That's like a normal down payment on a house. 50K used to be like, oh, here's 3/4 of my house money. There you go. Mm-hmm, and now it's just like, oh, that might cover the interest.
It might not probably like depending. That's barely like 10% if you're, getting like a decent, nice house in a decent area.
Now, and don't get me wrong, I was doing research on this the other day. By research, I mean I was looking at pictures on Reddit. But there was a graph, and it talked about what the average down payment in each state is. And I could be incorrect on this, but I feel like in Nevada, it was somewhere around $20,000, right?
Okay.
But that takes into account everything. So that's condos, that's townhomes, that's manufactured homes that people are buying, right? So yeah, for a normal down payment where it's 20%, depending on whatever format or discounts or, things are happening, 20%. Yeah, that's 20, because that's like, I'm doing the math in my head. I just fucking blew my own mind. Oh my God. Because
if y'all watching on YouTube, it's like this light bulb just kind of like
20% of $200,000 is already $40,000. Mm-hmm. And you want me to do what with 50K? That's not, I just realized it's not even a down payment.
Sorry, no. This is just adding additional trauma to right.
That's what I say to that 50,000.
No.
Yeah, you tell him, Judy. Oh my God. Okay, now that we've decided that you can't do anything with 50K, and right. I have just become a bit more depressed. My question for you, because I don't know if you've noticed, but I've been, for a while I was writing a story, and then that got really hard, so I stopped. And now what I'm doing in our descriptions of the podcast, by the way, is what I'm talking about. Now what I'm doing is I'm just asking a question. Mm-hmm. Simple questions. 1 week it was, what's your favorite condiment? And if you put mayonnaise, you're a psychopath. This week's was a very hard question, in my opinion. Okay, you didn't see it?
I saw a question, but I didn't read it.
Okay, so I guess for people who are listening now, this is last week's question, okay? Mm-hmm. This week's question, completely different question. Last week I asked, how much money would it take for you to give up orgasms?
Oh, I did read it.
For the rest of your life?
Yes, I did read it.
How much money would that take? because here's the thing, right? Like you're already like, there's no amount of money.
No, sorry.
And I'm inclined to agree with you. And here's why. Because if you give up orgasm, you give me $500 million, right? Or let's even just say $1 billion. Let's just make it even billion, because what I want to say is you're going to make it so that not only I don't have to work again, that my children don't have to work again, and so on and so forth, right?
Right.
But why would I stop at $1 billion? Like $1 billion doesn't seem like enough money to give up orgasms forever. But It won't make a difference if I get another 10 billion. So the more that I thought about that, right? Because it won't change my level of life in that aspect. So the more I thought about that, the more the money started becoming less and less interesting.
Right.
To where now I'm just like, oh man, a life without orgasms, even with unlimited wealth, just sounds kind of terrible.
It does. It does sound terrible, because if you think about it, it's not just orgasms with a partner. It's orgasms by yourself.
Right.
Like,
right.
Like that just sounds miserable. I want to live a life like that.
Oh man, how much would it take for you to give up orgasms? 50,000? Not even a down payment on a house, and you're that destitute? You're just gonna be like, oh, no more orgasms? Oh, I still gotta come 10K out of pocket with this 50 grand you gave me for any kind of decent house? Ah! Okay. Oh yeah, we're gonna talk more money now, because Judy's gonna try and hit me with more girl math because of the way her paychecks came out this month.
Look, honestly, I feel like my first topics are like all about money, so I guess that should say something about what's on my mind right now. All right, y'all. So tomorrow's my payday.
Keith,
I think tomorrow's.
Watch out. Watch the bank account. All 17 of them. Watch them like hawks. She's gonna start siphoning money away. Okay? She's worrying about it. She's good. I know you already completely did your max on your IRA and your Roth. She's gonna take it all, bro. She's worried about it.
No.
Yeah, Judy. That's what Keith is saying to you right now.
No.
Yeah. As he logs into the Bank of America to say, freeze everything. Freeze it. Okay. Sorry.
Oh, okay. All right. So I get paid tomorrow, which I also think Ryan and I are on the same pay scale or pay period that we talked about this before. I could be wrong.
Well, since I started at the boutique, I'm on a new one where I get paid every 2 weeks. So I do get paid tomorrow, but it's just every other Friday for me.
Yeah, so same. I get paid every other Friday. Okay. Right. But if y'all look at the calendar for this month, we get paid 3 times because there are 5 Fridays in the month of March.
Yes. Well, it's because of the leap year. It's because of the leap year.
And it's not just because. Oh, speaking of Happy Leap Day.
Oh yeah, Happy Leap Day. I know, but it made it so that it fell on the 1st, which gave us an extra Friday.
I guess. Sure, but there's other months to also give us.
Remember how you said, for anyone watching or who wants to understand something, remember how she said to me that it was like a light bulb turned on? For what I just saw, it was like when a light bulb is dying and it's flickering a whole bunch, and it's like ah.
Regardless. All right. Anyways. And that's all that matters is that we get paid 3 times this month.
We get 3 paychecks this month.
We get 3 paychecks. And the way I was telling Ryan is that the way I budget is technically we have 2 paychecks a month. But because we have 3 this month, you basically get your last paycheck is basically a free paycheck. So you can do what you like. And honestly, I was doing my math because I do my budgeting system. And I was like, you know what? That's kind of right.
Honestly,
I don't have to use that last paycheck for bills.
I want to be able to argue with you on some level, I can't. I mean, because this is the benefit of getting paid every 2 weeks compared to getting paid on a day and another day, because the difference is at certain points in the year you get an extra paycheck, while at the other spots it's just at certain points of the year your paycheck has, you know, half the amount more on it or something like that, right? So I want to be able to argue with you on that, but I can't. Like, it's not possible. But what you said did, and I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be a downer. What you did kind of said something that depressed me, though, is that we have to start thinking about our paychecks being free. Like, we have to pay to get our own paychecks. And I get what you mean. You're just saying all of my bills, but it's just like, remember when a paycheck used to mean something? Oh, God, I'm so old. When paychecks were made out of paper and you looked at it, you said, yeah, that's going to last me a while. And now it just gets put right in your bank account and you're like, it's gone. Gone.
Yep. And yeah, it's you know, it's rough out here, but hey, you got to do what you got to do at this rate. And you just got to pay bills. And
so the question becomes, though, what are you going to do? Like, are you going to, which of the 15 bank accounts are you going to siphon the money into?
That's where we got to make plans, right? Like, oh, okay, I can put like, you know, 50% of this can go just towards savings and for whatever we're saving for type thing.
Yeah, but really what's going to happen is you're going to spend it when you go to Universal during spring break.
Yes.
See,
we're also going to Disneyland.
Yeah, see, like people, that's why it's not a free paycheck, Judy, because it's already spent. It's someone else's already, okay? It's the Mouses and Vin Diesel's. I don't know anyone else who works at Universal.
Mouses and Vin Diesel.
Well, the mouse, Mickey Mouse. I know. Mickey Mouse, and then Vin Diesel, Universal. I don't know anyone else who works at Universal.
You were just there.
I know, but guess what? I then went and watched Fast X, and that movie is seared into my brain, okay? It was so... and don't get me wrong, I wasn't expecting it to be good. That's why I waited for it to be free on Prime. And I've watched every movie in that series, and I know that the last... since 8 have been garbage. I'm only watching them at this point because I've watched all the other ones and I need to know how it gets completed. Like, I can't. But man, was this a terrible fucking movie. Oh my God.
I was telling Keith after our meeting on Saturday, I was like, oh, hey, Ryan said that, you know, Fast X is on Amazon Prime. It's free to watch. And he's like, oh. I was like, yeah. He said it was terrible. He's like, God. Yeah.
And they had the balls to turn this into a two-parter?
Oh, it's a two-parter too?
They turned this into Avengers on us. God. And I'm sorry. Wow. I like Jason Momoa a lot. I'm not even going to say he's doing a bad acting job. It's a terribly written character. Right? I believe I told you that Jason Momoa's character, it's like, it was someone who was trying to write the character of Heath Ledger's Joker from Dark Knight. Mm-hmm. But this person who wrote this character does all of their shopping exclusively at Hot Topic. Right? It's just like, yes. I want to be an edgelord and I'm going to make the most intrinsically thinking kind of character. But he's so off the wall. You never know where he's coming from. And then, But my point in saying that is that Jason Momoa is not a Thanos level bad guy. No. Where you could just have him do 2 movies as the main baddie.
Yeah.
And then, real quick, I'm sorry. Spoiler alert, okay? Spoiler alert. the fact that they have John Cena in part 9, the entire thing was John Cena hated his brother and had spent his entire life trying to be better than his brother, right?
Yeah.
I'm not saying that they couldn't make up and be friends, but in this movie, he's like, Dom's the greatest person that's ever lived, and that's amazing for you to have it. Like, come on, you couldn't even a little bit just be like, yeah, he's okay. No, you had to make John Cena into the Vin Diesel cheerleader guy. And I get it. I'm asking for too much for my Fast and the Furious movie to make sense. I understand that. But a little thought, a little effort could have gone into it.
Wow. Okay, I don't know if that makes me want to like watch it more.
I'm going to get you to watch it on like a bet somehow. Like, I'm going to get you to lose a bet. And yeah, you're going to have to watch Fast
Well,
X.
now that you've mentioned that it's a 2-parter, we'll just wait until the second one comes out on Amazon Prime.
I'm going to wait until it's the second one is out though. And that way you have to watch them back to back.
Let me tell you.
At least I get like 3 years in between or whatever. Right. But you got to go back. That's 4 hours of Vin Diesel just saying family. You thought you were family? You are family because it's the family.
I told you, I think it was last year, we watched all, not like in one sitting, but we watched all of the movies in the Fast and Furious series. And my God, I think I lost interest. Like when they said, I think it was Ludacris and Tyrese up into space.
That was number 9. That was number 9.
I was like, oh my God. Anyways, yeah, but.
Oh God.
Wow.
So now that we've been talking about all these celebrities,
sorry.
why do I need to hate? Who are the influencers that I need to hate on?
Okay, I'm sure you don't know them because they're like beauty. I wouldn't call them beauty influencers on TikTok, but they're just random quote unquote influencers these days on TikTok. And average people are getting upset at these influencers because these brands, like these, big brands, like big makeup brands, are sending these influencers out on these fancy schmancy trips. Like, I think the most recent one is this makeup brand is sending all these influencers to Bora Bora. Okay. And all these people, I saw like 4 videos that were stitching this one lady that I like to follow. And she's married to an NFL player. So people are getting upset at her. They're like, why are these brands giving them all this free shit, sending them to these bougie places? And I'm here thinking, what's it to you?
Well, see, this is the Scorpio in me. I want to argue with you, but
yeah, yeah.
Like, do you guys not know how products work and how being a celebrity works? That's the thing that is amazing to me, is that when you are rich and famous, you no longer have to pay for anything. Because shoe companies will give you all the shoes you need. Jewelry companies will let you wear all their shit. Clothing, fucking cars, down payment on homes. I can't stop thinking about it. Sorry. But that's just that. I mean, like, why are they choosing the NFL player's wife? I don't know. Probably because she used her husband and her own celebrity into becoming a social media star, and therefore has an audience in which the makeup company says, hey, if you advertise for us, we'll give you something. That's literally how it works, people.
Yeah. And so, I'm reading these comments and people are like, well, if y'all were the ones who made her or this person famous, you guys are watching their videos and following them. Like, you created this.
I mean, do people not understand that social media is a full-on marketplace now?
I don't know. Clearly not.
And don't get me wrong, like I've said a million times, like this is supposed to be something that's fun, right? But if there is a miracle out there and God wants to bestow one upon me, I'm waiting. But if it's out there and this somehow becomes something that can, support our families and hopefully other people or whatever, look, I had a fucking stoner thought today that if I could, I want to be able to make enough money that I can give 50 people 1% of my salary. Mm-hmm. And that is more than enough than they would need to like have a very comfortable life over the course of a year, right? Whether that's $100,000, whether that's 100. But then I start doing the math. I'm like, God damn, you got to be Jeff Bezos, right? But still, like, that's the right. Hope, right, of this whole thing. Yep. So people are just fucking haters.
Yes, that's my thing. I'm like you could, like, anybody could be in that position. You just have to market yourself in such a way. And I get that they're like upset that, her husband's already making decent money in the NFL, but like, it's just.
Oh, blow me. Because guess what? Matthew Stafford's wife is all over the life insurance commercials or whatever he was doing. Right?
Was she?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
There was a life insurance commercial I saw at some point, and she was like, yeah, I feel safe now that he's got his life insurance.
Well, I know she was sick, but I didn't think she was on a life insurance commercial. But hey, look.
I mean, do you guys not watch television? Do you think that the reason that the TV shows are on there is because you're a big fan of NCIS Australia? You think it's on? No, it's on there because someone paid CBS a lot of fucking money to put it on.
Exactly.
I think I've lost the plot a little bit. I'm sorry.
No, that was, I'm just saying, like, it's just a bunch of haters out there. Like, if it bothers you so much, don't watch them, unfollow them, block them, do what you like. Don't give them that one click, that one, like, just move along, just scroll away.
These people go into the same category that I would put like sports fans that go too far, that think that they are actually a part of the game. Yeah, and don't get it twisted.
Like an actual player on the field. Like we all understand that there's a home field advantage and crowd noise and all that goes into it. But people who like, oh man, I've been writing, like they go to the game that I've been writing down these jokes all week. I'm gonna sling them at this player, right? That or the people who are just full on racist. Looking at you, Boston. I'm sorry, looking at you. Okay. Like that, that's what I'm saying. I put all of those kind of people in this category. Now, if the influencers are doing anything to mislead, to disparage, whatever, if they're doing anything shady, that's different, right? Yeah. Which, okay, why don't you talk to all these influencers that do Bitcoin or whatever kind of cryptocurrency? Because that is the shadiest stuff you can be doing. But, this palette that's already super expensive, where do you think the money goes? You really think it costs $800 for 7 colors of makeup? What? Well, you thought that somewhere there was a person just slowly with a brush churning the makeup into the palette, and then they're putting flakes of gold and platinum into it and a fucking iPhone so that it actually is worth the $1,000. No, it's all profit. And I get it. There's better materials and the nicer stuff than there is in the other stuff, but it's the same as buying a fucking Supreme handbag. Yes. Yes. Oh man, I'm just telling you, I hate going down this rabbit hole of reading all these bitter people in the comments. And I'm just like, y'all need to just turn off your phones. I don't know, maybe just walk away from TikTok for, just step away if you don't like seeing this kind of thing, because that's what TikTok is there for, and people are gonna do it. If you don't like it, just
it's like you said, man.
log
People are just jealous, and they don't like it. They don't. Here's where part of the jealousy comes from. And I'm just gonna. I don't know who this girl is, so I don't know anything about her. I'm just gonna make an assumption. Okay. Her husband plays in the NFL. She probably doesn't have to work a real job, right? I'm gonna assume that's what it is. So it's a lot easier for her to be able to become a social media sensation than it is for, let's say, a 38-year-old overweight male who posts a weekly podcast, right? But I say that because I have to go out and work every day. I have to spend a majority of my lifetime at a place so that I can provide for my family, and that doesn't allow me to spend the majority of my time doing this podcast. I've actually had thoughts. They were like I said, stoner thoughts, but I've had thoughts of seeing if I can go get a $200,000 to $300,000 loan to be able to just float myself for a couple years, right? While I try to build this thing up. And then I realized, well, what happens if we need collateral? Ha! Someone giving out $50K, I heard.
24 hours.
Right? Because I honestly do believe that if I was given, if I was able to spend 8 hours a day, minimum 8 hours a day, 6-7 days a week working on this thing without having to worry about if I'm tired, if I'm this, if I'm that, because it doesn't take away from anything else in my life. I truly believe that we could make this into something that is able to be, like I said, it'll be able to support our families, right? Nothing huge, but it could be able to support our families.
Yeah, we wouldn't have to work a normal 9 to 5 to do this. Yeah.
We could be like the Teen Mom girl. I just realized one of the girls from Teen Mom 2 has literally 3 podcasts. And I was like,
oh my God.
She wasn't even that popular on the show. She was the 3rd most popular. And she's got 3 podcasts.
Wow.
So... But yeah, that's so I understand if people are upset to a degree because maybe she has a leg up. But guess what, man? You could do it too. Maybe not as easy as her, but guess what? Everyone has stuff that they have to be able to overcome, right? Yeah. Some people, life is not fair. It's not equal. Unfortunately. Yeah. I would be fine with a communist life, but guess what? That makes me a bad guy. I'm just saying, if it was equal, right? What? Oh, God damn it.
The thoughts, opinions, and expressions of Clownboy Ryan in no way reflect those of Judy herself, the A Conversation with Judy and Ryan podcast, or parent company, Take a Breath Productions. All rights reserved. Copyright 2020.
All right, I'm just going to say this so that we can get out of the way. This moment is my Hiroshima, okay? I'm just saying.
Opinions, and expressions of Clownboy Ryan in no way reflect those of Judy herself, the A Conversation with Judy and Ryan podcast, or parent company, Take a Breath Productions. Okay. All rights reserved. Copyright 2020.
Everybody was just fine with everything, and then he said communist life, can't go with that. And if you're wondering what I mean by Hiroshima, no, I'm not saying that the Japanese were in the right. I'm just saying that they were the ones who dealt with it. Okay. It's the bomb.
Okay.
The bomb. You
bomb.
saw Oppenheimer, right?
Yes.
Remember?
Yes.
Yeah, and Black Widow's sister was riding him in the courtroom. Yeah, we all saw Oppenheimer.
Boom. Yeah.
Boom.
Titties. Right. Yeah.
Oh, man. Oh, Judy, I'm excited about this. I'm finally happy about something. Who gives you the ick?
Give you something fun, you ha-has before the second half.
No, who gives you the ick?
All right, y'all. I have 2 groups of people who give me the ick. All right. Both happened at work this week, and it's just mind-boggling. So the first one is people, or in my case, coworkers, who act like everything is urgent to them and they're always in like a panic mode. I have one of the directors call me the other day. And every time I'm on the phone with her, she's like going 100 miles an hour. And I'm like, and I told her, I go, you need to slow down. Like, okay, you know, I'm here trying to take notes on everything she's saying, but she's like, you know, she's just saying like, oh, there's all these issues and no one's responding and blah, 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 blah. She just keeps, blah, 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 blah. I was like, are you okay? Can you just like take a breather? I don't understand.
No, she's not
like,
okay. She is not okay.
She is not. She's never okay, though. I've worked with this woman for 2 years almost. Never have I like heard, like she'll come to my cubicle and talk in the same speed as if she was talking to me on the phone.
Oh,
I was like,
is she married?
Oh my God. Yeah, she's married, 2 kids.
Fuck, her poor husband. Her
Oh my
poor,
God, like,
golly. You know how much weed he must have to smoke to be able to survive every day? You know how many shrooms he must be on just to be like, it's fine. Just you do your thing, man, and I'm just going to keep on taking care of the kids. God.
yeah.
Ah! What the heck is happening?
Whoa.
What? 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 What is happening? What? What? Why is Locker Room Let's Play?
We're on episode 9.
No, we're not. God. This is ruining my show. Ah,
I'm crying because that is so funny. Like,
no. No. Why can't I find it?
tears.
Ah.
Oh, actual tears.
No, it's not funny. This is very sad. It's very sad. Okay, I think I found it.
Oh my God.
Ah! This is my fucking worst nightmare. Ah! Don't think I didn't notice you laughing either. I heard you all through the laughter. I heard you laughing at me too. The whole world was laughing at me. Ah!
Oh, the tears. I needed that.
Can we get back to icky people?
Man.
I don't think we're gonna have time for passwords now after that finagle. Sorry. God.
Okay, no, sorry, but she's not the only coworker like that. I have a lot of people because I'm an executive assistant, so I get it. There's things that are urgent and I understand, like, but no, some people just like this. I have one lady in Arizona. Every time she comes back, like, hey, my executive has a conflict. Like, hey, at one point, my boss was like, tell her no, she needs to stop changing things. And it's going to be the time that I said is the time that they need to make it. Like, they need to move their other stuff because we're more important. I was like, that's all you had to say.
See, it's moments like this that make me feel happy. And the reason is because I deal with that a lot too, but the people I deal with that from are customers, right? Because I work in a customer-facing business.
Right.
Or in a customer-facing section of said business. So, like, every customer, like, not every, because that's not fair, but so many customers are like, I know that I waited until 4:55 to call you, but I need insurance right now. And a lot of real estate or mortgagee loan officers, whatever, same thing. Yeah. I know that we waited until 11:59 a.m., but we need this declarations page before 1.
Because we're closing. And
like, you know, so it makes me feel happy that people in jobs that those people that call me and make my life miserable, that they really are. It makes me happy that they're going out and making everyone else's life just as miserable. Thanks, you guys. You guys
It's probably
are
the
real
same ones,
MVP.
too.
Oh, 1,000%.
Oh, yeah.
1,000%. Oh.
Oh, man. But all right. That was one group. The second
Oh, that
group,
was just one.
that was just one ick, right? The second group is I was filling up my, my water bottle at our fountain. And this lady goes, "Oh, I noticed you fill up your water a lot throughout the day." I go, "Yeah, I like to drink water, stay hydrated." And she said, "I'm not into water like that." And I go, "Okay." Like, okay, did you have to share that with me? I don't know.
I mean,
And I'm
maybe
thinking-
she thought it was going to be a nice conversation starter. Like you would be like, "Oh, what are you into?" And she was like, "Cocaine."
Honestly, she seems like an older lady who'd probably be into cocaine.
Okay, cool.
But, like, I'm just here thinking that there really are people at their big age talking about how they don't,
Big age.
they don't like to drink water.
That's how we refer to the old people now. You and your big age. I can't wait to go up to my mom and just be like, "Hey, your big age is showing, you old lady."
Oh, I am so sorry for him using that on you, Mom.
Oh,
Ryan's
God.
mom. If when you're listening to this, I'm
everyone who's
sorry.
older than me, big age is coming for you. Oh,
But
man.
honestly, though, at your big age, why are you not drinking water? Like,
Oh, wait, was this lady fat?
no,
Well, I don't look.
no, she's like this skinny, middle-aged white woman with the Karen haircut.
Oh, well, okay. The Karen haircut gives a lot away. And then also, well, I was asking because, like, maybe you were saying big age because, like, that's what was popping in your head. Because,
No.
Oh, man. Well, we're gonna honestly, please keep us updated on this lady. I would love to. Oh, and before we go, actually, real quick, because I promised Judy we would talk about it on the show. We had this happen. If you're watching on YouTube at takeabreathpod, she had a run-in with a gentleman. I don't have it in front of me anymore because
scroll down a little bit.
I don't know where it is, Judy. Okay, that's what I'm saying. So just tell people what's going on without embarrassing me.
So this man, the fire truck, his username is the fucking the fire truck with the DA. So annoying.
Right. Okay. And he said,
In quotes, he says, "He gave me the ick." And he goes, "You are 33 years old." And at that point, because I thought he was talking directly to me, because I, at my big age, I am 33 years old. And you know what? I'm going to continue saying ick. And I don't care what this man says. All right. The fire truck, Matt Lane. Fuck off, bro.
You got so upset. You got so triggered by this guy. This guy and his, I believe you said he had a 12-year-old's username with the fire truck. Oh, man. All right. Well, I needed for everyone to have that same experience with me. Thank you very much. We're going to take a break. When we come back, get ready for the trauma dump. It's been a long... Look, if you don't want to stick around for the next half of it, you don't have to. That's why we did the funnies in the first half. I'll try to be funny. Look, I'm a naturally fucking gifted comedian, but...
You know what he is.
But it's not always about that. Sometimes it's about wanting to be as honest with you guys as possible. So we're going to do that when we come back. And if you're not going to be a part of that, cool. I will see you next week on a conversation. All right, welcome back to A Conversation with Judy and Ryan right here on YouTube at takeabreathpod, as well as Twix and TikTok. Same username at takeabreathpod. Remember to check us out on the audio platforms as well. A Conversation with Judy and Ryan. If you do not give us 5 stars, why do you hate me? If you're new to the show, or if you just, weren't paying attention last week, we have started bringing up, because it's something that is very important to, I know it's important to both of us, but I don't want to speak for you, but obviously it's important, as many conversations as we've had about it. Something that's very important to both of us is just the amount of gun-related mass shootings that there are in the U.S. every single year. So we have made it a point to take a couple minutes every show. Sorry, it gets me so choked up. Take a couple minutes every show to just share the related gun incidents that have happened since our last show, right? Because we don't get to go a week without having multiple incidents. Judy, would you like to know how many there were since our last filming?
Yes.
7. There have been 7 separate incidents
So basically one a day?
Essentially, in which 20 victims have been injured. Another 7 have been killed. And this is the one that pisses me off every single time. Of those 7 incidents, 3 suspects arrested.
So the 4 are just still out there.
Yeah.
Or
I mean,
essentially, yeah.
I would assume so. I don't know. It's just like it's just to hear those things it's super disparaging every single time. But that is why we bring it up. That is exactly why. Because if you are someone like how we pretty much have always been, you only hear about the big ones that happen every couple months, which is sad enough to hear that it happens every couple months.
Yeah.
But there are more mass shootings in the U.S. every year than there are days in the calendar. So we're going to keep talking about it. We are going to keep talking about it. All right.
That we are.
Moving on. Are you guys ready for the trauma dump? You know what's going to be real funny is that like somehow the clip of my my therapy session now goes viral, and that's I'm trying to keep it a little light. I'm trying to keep it light. All right. So I appreciate you trying to keep it straight. Judy's over here like, no, Ryan said therapy. We're going to be serious with Ryan and we're going to listen to him. Which, by the way, if I do not express that enough, I really do appreciate that about you, Judy. You really do try to take me, for as much as I am a clown boy in so many aspects, you really do not treat me as such, and you do try to separate the overacting reaction of who I am compared to the, just regular crazy person that I am. The first thing I just want to start off in, I just want to complain a little bit. So, the ex-wife is going she's going on a trip, right? She's going on a trip. She's going to be out of town for 2 weeks, essentially. Okay?
Okay.
And at one point, she let me know that she was going on this trip, but didn't actually give me any specific dates or anything. And also made it seem like she would have multiple people covering during that time period so that it wouldn't just fall on me and the EP.
Okay.
Fast forward to yesterday, and I get a text. It's a group text, and it's the ex-wife saying, hey, just a reminder, going on vacation these days, and so the EP says, well, who's doing what days? Because she hadn't said anything yet. And so she said, like she's a fucking Hollywood executive, let me check my calendar. Then, I don't know, like 8 hours passes because there must have been so much in this fucking calendar.
I guess. In the 2 weeks.
And she comes back and she's like, my friend or my roommate can drop him off at school the day that I leave. and your mom, my mom, can watch him like one day during that time, a Friday. And so I'm immediately like, oh, so I have to do the rest of the day? Like, I didn't say this. I'm just thinking this. I do the rest of the days? I thought you were going to be gone like maybe a week. Like, I would have to have him like during your section of time once, not 2 straight weeks. And don't get it twisted. I love having my kid. If that's what ends up happening, it's going to be fucking amazing. Because other than the fact that he leaves me outside to die when I snap my ankle so he can play with his fucking drone, I love him more than anything on this planet. I enjoy all the time that I get with him. And I know that my time with him is limited, especially with the fact that I've cut half of it off by divorcing his mom. So any extra time, that's fine. But I shouldn't be your babysitter, right? It shouldn't be at my detriment to cover for you. When I then returned with, that's going to be rough, what is your dad doing?
Right.
She comes back with, oh, well, I don't talk to him. It's a whole thing, blah, blah, blah. Okay, fine. Her dad's an asshole. I don't care. Mm-hmm. But then it's, well, I can pay for SafeKey on my days while I'm gone. Thank you so much for paying for the after school program on the days that you're going to be gone. That's so helpful. Yeah, I get it. That is a very nice thing to offer. It's not even a nice thing to offer. That's what you're supposed to do. Because I'm not covering him on my time. I'm covering him on your time. Legally. I'm talking legally, right? So you have to pay for SafeKey. It's not like oh, well, he's with you. So no, bitch. It's your responsibility. I'm a fucking babysitter right now. Just because I also share the same DNA as said child, I'm a babysitter. And I have not heard anything else as to when she would be coming to get him. So I would just have to assume that since she comes back during my time, that she would just have me keep him throughout it. So it becomes literally a full 2 weeks that I would have him, which goes from, just for anyone wondering, that goes from splitting with him every day or every week, half the week, to now just 2 straight weeks of just me. I don't know if anyone wants to be around me for that long, to be quite honest. Other than the EP, I can already hear it. I love you.
It's like, I'm here all the time.
And like, it's just, god damn, it is so frustrating because I am not trying to be an asshole, but I am seriously getting tired of being taken advantage of. And like I said, I get that he is my kid and it's my responsibility, but she is also his responsibility, or he is also her responsibility. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Right? So, like I said, that has really irritated me this week. And I just need to share that. Part. All right.
When is the vacation? Is it coming up?
Yeah, I think it's at the end of March.
Okay.
So, but like the other part of it too, she didn't have any like friends that she would feel comfortable with leaving him for a couple days with. Like, if she does, I haven't met him.
Right. So
that's the other part of it, is like, she doesn't have enough people in her life to be able to do. But at the same time, I'm also like, you know what? My mom, when she abandoned me to go on vacation when I was little, she hired a fucking nanny. So if you can't do that, then maybe you should figure your shit out. All right, speaking of depression.
What a segue.
My mom leaving all the time. God. Oh man. So earlier this week I was talking to Judy and I was just letting her know how everything's going on in my head and everything. And the way that I describe that to her right now, she's like, yeah, he gave me so many details. I told her like a sentence. But one of the things that I said to her was that I was feeling very low energy. And that's always been kind of a marker for me when I've been feeling depressed or sad or whatever, is it saps almost like all of the life out of me. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure depression is different for different people. I'm not going to try and sit here and be an expert. I'm just going to sit here and tell you that I'm an expert of what I have experienced, right? Because do you know how long it takes to be an expert at anything? Therapist Judy?
No.
I believe that the industry timeline is 10 years in a field.
Okay.
So I've been dealing with this for let's say I wasn't cognizant of it for the first 30 years, okay? I'm a fucking expert at my own depression. And in being an expert in it, it made me, I was doing a lot of thinking about it, and I was wondering where it came from. And this is the hardest part. Mm-hmm. Because I'm not able to pinpoint like, oh man, that one time it was the 9th inning, the whole team was relying on me and I struck out. Like I don't have a moment like that.
Right.
It's a collection of feelings that I've always had that I've just always, I feel like they've always been there. Mm-hmm. Right? For as long as I can remember, people ask me, why do I refer to myself as crazy? And why do I talk to myself so negatively at times? Who was it that put those thoughts in your head? Me. It was me. Like, I'm the only one who's been living inside this head.
Right.
Now, have other people contributed to it over time? Yes. There have been multiple incidences, and we will share some of those. Because that's what you came for. You came for the juicy stuff. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, whether it was just that it was something that went undiagnosed or something that crept in over time, or just being allowed to drink alcohol at way too young of an age. Where were my parents at 13? Oh, that's right. Letting me forge their signature. I had a nice upbringing, right? I mean, by the end of this episode, you might not think so, but I had a very nice upbringing. My mom always made sure that I was well-fed, had a roof over my head, had clothes on my back, lived in a very, very nice neighborhood. So, you know, I don't want anyone to think that just because I'm sharing this that I am trying to, you know, degrade her in any way. Or her parenting abilities. She did the best that she could with what she knew, okay? The internet wasn't really a thing until I was in high school. Guess what? Like, when I was in high school, she was busy at work, okay? She wasn't, like, looking at fucking E-Bombs World all day, all right? Trying to figure out the best therapeutic things for her child. Like, that's just not the way the world was at that time.
Right.
Does that mean it's 100% okay? No, but it does mean that you can do the wrong thing without having malicious intent behind it. So you asked me. You didn't, but I'm going to pretend like you did. What were some of these things that have caused you to feel this way over time, especially from the young age? And I do remember having moments of, I'm trying to think of the best way to put this. I remember having moments of feeling worthless, for the lack of a better term. One of these moments occurred in high school. I believe this was sophomore year. I wasn't able to drive yet, but I did have an ID. And this one has stuck with me for a long time. My mom was a single woman, and she was going to have a gentleman over to the house. And so decided that it would be better to leave me at a casino for the weekend.
Oh.
And I remember getting there, and I was, 14, 15.
Right. Yeah.
I hadn't checked myself into a lot of hotels at that point.
Of course.
So we get there, and I didn't have an ID with me. Like, I just didn't I don't remember. She may have told me to bring it, and I had forgotten it. But I remember her screaming at me in the casino about, I don't remember what she was saying because I'm not trying to lie right now, but I do remember her yelling at me because I didn't have my ID. And then I remember sitting in that hotel room over that weekend in the dark, watching whatever terrible movie was on basic cable, as you do, eating a Subway meatball sub. I remember that one specifically because that was really the only food that they had in the, I guess you could call it, dining area of this. And by the way, casino, this was a casino that had, it wasn't like one of the nice ones on the strip. I don't want to say which one it was, but it was not a nice one. It was one where you didn't want to walk around outside of the casino at night. I'll just put it that way, okay? It was not. Yeah, no, it was not in a good part of town. Like, no, I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
But I remember sitting in that room and just not really feeling good about myself for a plethora of reasons. And I feel like I don't need to really explain those reasons at this moment. If you haven't been able to figure out from just that part of the story why I felt shitty, that's kind of on you at this point. You know, have some empathy. So that's one. And then another one, and I have not really told many people this one. This is probably where it came from, if I'm going to be honest. When I was younger, and this is like second, third grade, I was living with my mom and my adopted dad. For anyone who doesn't know, I have 3 dads, okay? My biological dad, my adopted dad, and my stepdad. And I only call him my stepdad because that's literally what he is. I think of I think of the second 2 as both of my fathers. They've both been there for me in every way imaginable that a father can be there for their kid. So regardless of the title. But second, third grade, I say I want to go live with my dad and my 2 brothers. I have 2 brothers. I would go visit him during the summers and over winter breaks and all these things. And she said, okay, cool. We'll figure that out. And I moved out to Cleveland. Another reason why I hate that fucking city. Moved out to Cleveland, and I was there over the course of the summer. And throughout that summer, I remember this man gave every single excuse as to why I couldn't be there. And some were for legality, and some were for just reasons. But at the end of the summer, I got shipped back to Las Vegas. And I'm not going to sit here and try and say, oh, that was the moment. Like, if I had to guess just as a grown adult, that's probably the moment that it started. I don't remember having feelings about it. at that time. You know, I was a kid. Like, literally, this is, like I said, second, third grade. This is, you know. And I know I'm not the only one who's gone through this stuff. I'm just trying to explain where the depression comes from. So, were you going to ask me something? You look like you want to ask me something. No, you just, okay. Okay. No, I'm just getting comfortable. You've been talking for a long time, Ryan. Just stretch it out. So, my point in telling those stories is also to say that a lot of people tell me that I have an issue with confidence. And some people are amazed when they hear that I have an issue with that. What do you mean? You're so loud. You're so funny. You're so charming. You have long hair. You're very disheveled. I mean, you know how you look, right? And my point in saying that is that I am the type of human being that just naturally I'm kind of in your face. Like, without trying to be, it's just who I am. Like, I'm noticeable, right? Because I'm big, or because of my hair, or because of microaggressions. I don't know. It's racist. But as a byproduct of these things that affected me as I was growing up, my confidence has never been what people assume it should be. And so they tell me I should be more confident, right? But then, and this is something that I've experienced in these years that I've been trying to be more confident, when I exert said confidence, I now become an asshole for being so confident. And I'll give you a quick example of this. Actually, I'll give you two examples. Sorry. Oh, okay. So when I was at the morning radio job, it was a great opportunity, and there was a lot of great things that came out of it. But in my opinion, it was me just being abused by a lot of people on staff for years of my life. And at the end of that, when I finally said, I've had enough, I'm going to quit, everyone acted like I was the asshole for leaving. Right?
Yeah.
And by that, I mean the people who were said abusers. Okay? There was a lot of great people at that station. A lot of people who I'm still very happy that I get to call my friend. Right? But the people who I'm talking about, and if we start a Patreon, I'll tell you who they are, maybe.
Ooh, juicy.
$5 a month.
Worth it.
But yeah, those people acted like I was the dick for saying I don't want to be in this situation anymore. Well, why didn't you say anything? Well, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? Because anytime I did do something, I was incorrect. Okay? Another instance, and the only reason I bring this up because it is a really stupid thing to hold on to, but the two people, and I'm not saying who it was for same stuff, the two people involved in this, I still really, really, really respect their opinions. And the fact that, on all sides, the fact that it got this heated was retarded. And I don't mean that, I'm just going to say it was retarded that we got this heated. But I was told that I was being an asshole by both of these people because I had the balls to say, after his first Super Bowl win, I had the balls to say that Mahomes was a better quarterback than Patrick Mahomes. I'm sorry, did I say Mahomes? See, I had the balls to say, see, it's such a stupid thing to have gotten into a fight over that I can't even tell it right. That I had the balls to say that Patrick Mahomes was a better quarterback than Dak Prescott. And I kid you not, that was my position. And there were more parts that went into this whole thing, but that was my position. And at the end of it, these two people were saying that I had gotten out of line, that I was acting like a dick, that all these things. But if you think about it, right? If you told someone that the best player in a sport is not as good as look, unequivocally the best player after his first Super Bowl win. I believe he already had an MVP by that point, had never lost a game other than the one to Brady in the playoffs, right? Unequivocally the best quarterback at that time, maybe not of all time, but at that time. And you're going to tell me that he is not as good as Dak Prescott. And then you're going to tell me that I am the asshole for defending my position. Like, don't get it twisted. I get it. I got out of sorts. I'm not trying to say I didn't. But maybe I got out of sorts because of how stupid the argument against me had to be. So, and then that leads me to what happened at work this week. So, at the boutique, the boss has been really preaching having just doing things the right way, making sure that we follow the rules and doing all these things. And one of the things in insurance that you cannot do is you cannot have somebody else do a policy for anyone else without that other person's permission. Now, you can, if you're married, okay, obviously there's a difference there, right? But it's very easy for you to send an email or a text or a phone call and say, yeah, Judy can do all of my policies for me as long as until I say otherwise. It's so easy to do that, right? So that's one of the things by law we have to do to keep things the right way. And he was in a bad mood that day. And by the way, I want to preface all of this. I haven't talked to him about it because after this incident happened, about 30 minutes after, he apologized wholeheartedly, super respectfully. So I don't harbor any ill will towards him. It's just this fucked with me this week. And it fucked with my confidence. So I needed to express this. He starts going off on why are you making this so hard? And I know the last place you worked at, they would do stuff like this all the time. So what's the issue? You're supposed to be making my life easier, not harder. I'm trying to make you money, all these things. And then he started going in on me and being like, and I don't understand why you don't act more confident when you're on the phone and I hear you and you're saying the right stuff and then you just stop. And I'm like, in this moment, I'm like, because this guy has been telling me how he's, literally in trouble with certain entities right now. He's on probation. He didn't do anything wrong, but he on probation for some stuff, right?
Okay.
And he's been telling me about how simple it is for the littlest thing for to be like, yo, bye, Ryan. The simplest thing. To the degree.
Did you want to not say your company name?
Oh, did I say it?
Yeah.
Fuck. Okay, thank you. It's 2 weeks in a row. To the degree that I was, and I'm not getting any benefit from this, but people who are not able to get insurance with my company, they would be ineligible. I would send them to this other third party. I don't see any benefit from it because I don't take any kickbacks or anything. So if they go to them and they find something, cool. If not, oh well. But he convinced me that even that was a mistake because I was only giving one option, right? So that's what I'm saying. On one hand, he's been telling me all this time to make sure everything's buttoned up and don't give anyone a reason to do anything, right?
Right.
And then in this instance, he's now coming down super fucking hard on me for things that I thought that he wanted.
Right.
And like I said, after all this happened, apologized wholeheartedly, said he said he was out of line. Like, I wanted to talk to him about this aspect of it, but I felt like it was inappropriate because by the time that I actually had been able to fully realize everything, it had been like a whole day had passed, and I didn't want him to feel like I was beating up on him or anything, you know, because that's the worst. When someone, this is a little note from Daddy Ryan, okay? If someone apologizes to you, if you're going to accept it, then that's not the time to pile on. Either accept it and actually accept it, or say, fuck you, I'm still angry. But saying, I accept your apology, but I can't believe you did that, you piece of shit. Like, no, you right? So I didn't want to do that to him because I actually appreciated that he took the time to do that. And I even, in the conversation, I gave him an out and I said, dude, you got a lot on your plate right now. You got this probation thing happening. And he said to me, we all have a lot on our plate. You have a lot on your plate. So that's not an excuse. So I really want to hit home on the fact that, like, while maybe the honeymoon period of working there is over, I still couldn't be happier about being able to work for someone who would be that honest and that open about how everything went down. But it's those kind of moments where I'm doing it correctly and everyone wants to tell me how fucking terrible I am, even though I've been doing it correctly or I am correct or whatever, but everyone still wants to be able to try and take me down a peg. Mm-hmm. I don't know, because I'm loud, because I'm funny, because I'm in your face, whatever. Like, you know, because I'm fucking right most of the time, probably. I don't fucking know. But I find it very funny that over the course of my life and dealing with my depression, that I've had all these moments of people telling me to be more confident. And then every time I do it, you know, whoa, why are you acting like that? Right. We didn't mean like confident against us. You know, we meant just be confident, like, you know, when you're at home by yourself, like not in the world. And, you know, I've been dealing with my depression pretty much over the last couple of years. It's been different, but it's been pretty much just dealing with by myself, right? Mm-hmm. But over the last like 5 years, I've gotten on my antidepressants, taken them pretty faithfully. I'm very big on having positive affirmations, and I've also really concentrated on not talking down to myself, right? Just because I call myself fat or refer to myself as such doesn't mean I'm necessarily, so most of the time, you're right. But it doesn't mean that I necessarily am talking down to myself. Sometimes I do say stuff just for comedic effect is the difference. But honestly, I've been doing those things and it's helped a lot, right? It has helped a great deal. I do feel much more comfortable in my skin. But I've been doing a lot of thinking. And the one thing that has really just, it's sticking in my craw. Okay? I'm old and ornery. I could say stick in my craw.
Never heard that before.
Oh, well, you're not old enough, Judy. I'm sure you're one of those women that says it gives you the ick.
I sure am, and I'll continue to say it.
Me and the fire truck, things stick in our craw, okay?
At your big age.
Fuck, I was trying to be upset. But seriously, what I will say to these moments that have generally crippled me for times. When I was telling you that I had low energy on Monday, Judy, it was because I had that conversation Monday afternoon. And I hadn't actually recovered it because of the way that my depression hits me. And I don't want to fucking hear anything from anyone about I was milking it. I wasn't fucking milking it. I'm a true believer that there are certain people that have a bad 5 minutes and turn into a bad fucking day. And that's not what I was doing. I was doing everything that I could to not be in that kind of state because that fucking state sucks. But guess what? That's the issue with it, is that it's not something, unfortunately, that can just be turned on and off. It's like going to the gym, and some days it's real easy to get on the treadmill, and other days you snap your fucking ankle and you can't go for 3 weeks, okay? So my point is that I'm going to start dealing with my depression in a new way. And a lot of people aren't going to like it. But I do not care.
Okay.
Because I feel like for too long, I have allowed myself to have the way that I want people to feel around me to dictate how I am with them. And what I mean is I always want everyone to be as happy around me as possible. Even the people that I don't like I don't want anything bad to happen to you. I just want you to leave me the fuck alone. But you could be happy in your side of the room. I'll be happy in my side of the room. There's some good times. But I'm at a point now where I've only got, if I'm lucky, 50 years left. And I am quite frankly tired of allowing how other people may feel to dictate how I feel. And it's not like many people are hitting me up to go hang out on Friday nights anyway. My fault. But I've just decided that I'm not going to take any shit anymore. I don't really care who it comes from. If I believe something and I believe that you're fucking with what I believe, I'm not going to not tell you about it. The only time that this may come to change would be in the workplace, because I cannot at this point afford to lose my job. That $300,000 loan with no collateral against it, I haven't seen many of those get put out yet. But when they do, okay, when the people start realizing that you need to invest in podcasts with 39 subscribers on YouTube, that those are the people that need the $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 loans for small businesses, we'll be in business. But until then, I don't if I gotta fucking be a Karen even, I'm just at that point where I'm very tired of letting anyone else dictate for another moment how I feel in this world. And I'm tired of feeling shitty for days on end because somebody else had a bad day. And maybe that means that I also need to up my meds, right? Because maybe my meds are not strong enough anymore and my psychiatrist needs to just amp up the milligrams a little bit. But guess what? After all this time and after finally feeling like I understand enough about people to know what I do and don't want out of them, that's something that I'm willing... That's something that I'm more than happy to deal with. Not having anyone in my life that wouldn't respect that is something that I am just ready to deal with. And I'm not worried about who I'd be losing at this moment, but that's because in this moment, all the people I'm thinking about wouldn't do that to me. But then... life happens. I wasn't even trying to time it like that. I was looking right at you, not at the fucking timer. Oh man. The only person who will ever there's two people who I will give free passes to call me out on something, and I will give them one pass. And those two people are the EP, you know, because you kind of have to.
Of course, yeah.
And the other one will be Judy. And that's because Judy allows me to have moments like this on our podcast. I want to make sure everyone understands that. I do most of the talking. It's because I won't shut the fuck up. But it is our podcast at the end of the day. And if she didn't enable sounds like a bad word, but it's the one I'm going to use. If she didn't enable me to be able to have these moments and express the way I'm feeling and kind of trauma dump on you guys, I wouldn't be able to do it. So that's why, you know, I love her as much as I do. That's why I want to do this show with her as much as I do. It's because I truly do think that through her actions, she cares about me on a level that not a lot of other people have ever shown me. Maybe that's also me just being an over-emotional, empathic Scorpio piece of shit, but that's how I'm going to look at it, okay? All right. I told you guys, first half was for the funny ha-has. I sprinkled some in where I could, but I mean, we had 38 years of trauma to get through. What'd you expect?
It's just a little snippet into, you know, what's going on, and it's just a very tiny piece, I'm sure.
To be honest with you, I didn't plan on talking for the entire 40 minutes. I thought that in my head, when we were doing therapy, you were going to be asking me more questions, but I get it. I just didn't shut up. I didn't give you a chance to talk. So
no, it's fine. It's okay. You needed to get it out.
How dark was it in the hotel?
God, I have so many questions, like follow-up questions, but I mean, it's not appropriate for the podcast.
That's the Patreon. That's the $10 tier, though. Okay, you
all the nitty gritty.
You get names at $5. You get details at $10. Oh my God. No, guys. Thank you for listening. If you made it this far, you're a true day one. You're a true eavesdropper, and I truly appreciate you. And also, I hope that I hope that anything that you heard today helps you in any mental health journey that you're going through. Whether it's just hearing someone else's story, whether it's being able to utilize what I do in order to help yourself, whether it's just, you know, putting white noise so that the voices don't fuck with you for an hour. I get it. So whatever it was, I'm glad I was able to help, and you know, don't give up on that struggle, because you want to a lot of times, but until we can prove it, there is only one trip on this ride. I really hope that reincarnation is a thing, but like only if I can come back as a human. Because if I have to come back as like an ant, I'll no. Okay, no, that's bullshit. It's fucking bullshit.
Yeah, I would hate that too.
If I have to come back as a goddamn squishmallow and I just got to be in your fucking Costco cart the whole time, just like why is she taking? I want to go with a child. Oh man, someone's gonna clip that, and I'm gonna get put on a list. All right, that'll do it for this week's episode of A Conversation with Judy and Ryan. Like I said, I do appreciate the shit out of you guys who made it this far. Thank you so much. And yeah, we will talk to you next time. We do therapy like once a quarter, so we won't do this for a while. You guys are good, but we will see you next time right here on A Conversation with Judy and Ryan. Bye.
Bye.
And the teeth return.
God.
The teeth return. I look like a character from Lord of the Rings.
Maybe. Like, okay. I see it.
Oh, God.